Hello, everybody. Welcome to Horror Theories. I'm your host, Spooky Dan, and today I'm joined with fellow horror enthusiast Brendon Brymn and Comcast host and fellow child of the 2000s who grew up watching Danny Phantom, Connor Morrison.
Yes, dude. Let's go.
All
Let's
right.
go.
Speaking of Danny Phantom, we're going to be discussing, despite the fact that he is not a comic book superhero, he would be a good superhero turned into a Danny Phantom would be turned into a superhero turned into a horror villain. And for those of you who don't know Danny Phantom, the story of it follows a 14-year-old boy named Danny Fenton, whose parents are who run a ghost hunting business, and one day they decide to work on a portal that opens the ghost world so that they can hunt ghosts on their home turfs, but the portals decide to not work. And Danny one day decided, out of curiosity, to see how it worked, and he accidentally turned it on, and it gave him his ghost powers that he decided to use for good to fight evil ghosts. But what if, instead of using his ghost powers for good, he uses him for evil?
Whoa, dude.
Yeah. Like horror movie villain style.
I don't know that. I think there's some potential for some really dangerous stuff to happen.
Oh, 100%, I agree.
Dude, this guy can go through walls. Dude, you'll never see him coming. And it's
absolutely not.
It's just terrifying.
He's a ghost. He is half a ghost.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Like, that alone is good enough to be a horror villain material.
Exactly, dude.
And if we're talking about terms of backstory, there could be two different possible things. One, his parents are obsessed with love their ghost hunting business more than their own children, so they're kind of neglectful in a ways. And two, he's being bullied at school.
What? No.
By Dax Spexter, don't you remember?
Yeah. Uh-oh.
All right. So Brendon just said he watched Danny Phantom. So what are your thoughts on that? Let's hear from you.
So yeah, I've only watched on 3 episodes, and yeah, I believe those are two of the main things that could turn Danny evil.
Motivating factors.
And I think teenage angst could also have something to do with that, given he's only 14.
Dude. Have you ever seen Carrie?
Yeah.
Dude.
I've never seen Carrie, but I know the story.
Yeah, dude. Stuff goes down.
Yeah. I think Carrie could be... so basically, imagine this. He gets his ghost powers, and one day he gets bullied by Dash at school, and he's had enough of his bullying. And to the point where he decides to take action on him being bullied.
Right.
And so one day he just uses his ghost powers to take his hand, very hastily, angrily move it in his chest, and then have his hand become normal, and he just rips the heart out like a lawnmower. Little string.
What, dude? That would be terrifying.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then his friends, Sam and Tucker, are traumatized by what he had done to the point where they feel like they need to report this to the local authorities. So then Danny decides he doesn't want them to snitch on him, so he decides to kill them too. And from there, he goes on a murderous spree. And basically... Of course, teenage angst would make that worse, and
dude, he could start feeling guilty about it, and and then he'd start not guilty, but he'd be
he has a kill lust.
Oh my goodness, yeah, dude, he has a kill lust.
Yeah, essentially, then he would be, maybe there's also some dark forces that he because he's so naive about the world, and he doesn't you don't know anything when you're 14, right?
Exactly. No, I understand.
And So basically, he blindly trusts some dark force who says he can make him more powerful or help him in some ways. And of course, that makes things go worse. And he could also have the ability to haunt things, given that he's a ghost and he can possess people too. I've only seen like 2 episodes since I was young.
Right.
Brendon, did you ever grow up watching Danny Phantom?
I have not.
It's a pretty good series, I thought. And okay, so I just want to add this to the whole thoughts on how he could become a villain, a horror villain. Like, you know how it's family. You know how the original show is family oriented or kid oriented, right?
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't be the case here in this theoretical story. Because think about this. Have you ever seen a kid-friendly horror film, and be honest?
No.
Yeah. I can't say that I have.
I haven't either. And if it is, it's not. I don't think it's really considered a horror film necessarily. And
Right.
yeah, so of course it wouldn't be family-friendly, and it'd be quite gruesome. And
So what do you? All right. So you already gave us like a brief like plot, right? What do you think? What do you think? Like, who do you think would stop Danny Phantom in this horror movie, or do you think he would be able to be stopped?
I don't think he would be able to be stopped. He's pretty powerful, and it'd be pretty hard to stop him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any thoughts on any of this at all? I'm open to thoughts.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. That would seriously be terrifying, dude. Being able to just like reach into somebody's chest and just pull out their heart.
Or anything a normal person can't. That'd be
Pretty much,
terrifying as
yeah.
hell.
Like you could be in front of me one moment and then behind me in the next. Then like that would be really.
Or on
terrifying.
your side.
Exactly, like or in my face. Like that would be terrifying. I don't know. Not being able to know where somebody is like pretty scary.
Yeah, definitely.
Or being able to like possess someone and make them do whatever.
Oh, yeah, dude.
You want them to do, or say whatever you want them to say.
Oh yeah. Do you have any thoughts on a plot or anything like that of how Danny could be a horror villain, Brendon? You seem to have like this unique aspects on that. Let's hear some thoughts from you.
So about his parents. So what if now, because he's a ghost,
Yeah.
now they start paying more attention to him.
Because
Ooh.
they're ghost hunters.
Because they're ghost hunters.
They're
and-
now,
Yeah.
but like not interested because it's our kid. Now interested because he's a ghost.
And he's killing people. And for all we know, he could be killing someone close to us.
Yeah, and maybe they have a conflicted thought on whether they should try to stop him, or like show more love to him, because he's their son.
Right, dude.
Yeah.
That'd be a very interesting plot point. I think that would be that. Yeah, just because like that makes sense. Like that, they definitely would show more interest in him because he's a
Yeah,
ghost.
definitely. And
But like that, like could either lead them to their like death or like I don't know.
or
That could be very interesting.
or maybe maybe they kill the evil in Danny with not any of their gadgets or anything like that, but with love.
Oh, I like it, dude.
Yeah,
I like it. I don't know.
essentially.
Do I have any?
But that'd have to take a lot of like persuasion and whatnot.
True. That is true. That is true.
Alright, so basically, so in terms of like what horror villains Danny could very easily be compared to, like I kind of like maybe combination of Billy Loomis from Scream 1 and Freddy Krueger because he's a ghost, and
Ooh, Nightmare Ghost. So
Yeah.
we're saying that Danny has the power to get
With-
into people's
he
like
could
dreams?
probably, given
Probably.
he was a ghost,
Yeah. Why not? Dude?
and also
Haunting people.
maybe he could also be combined with a little bit of Tate Langdon from American Horror Story.
Ooh, that one I'm not that familiar with.
Oh yeah, American Horror Story is like this horror anthology series where each season has a different story from each other. Like each episode in the season is one story, but not every season is a different story. Is
My girlfriend's
is the same
really
story.
into American Horror Story.
Oh yeah.
Super good show.
Yeah.
I watched the Delicate season.
Ooh, I haven't seen American Horror Story in forever.
Oh, really?
Nah.
You watched it when you were a kid, dude?
I watched it, yeah, kind of.
Oh, that's kind
When
of
I was like 17, 18, something
you
like that.
Have you always watched like horror stuff?
Oh yeah, I'm a
That's kinda
huge
sick.
horror fan.
That's pretty sick, dude.
Yeah. Are you? Do you like horror, Connor?
I'm not the biggest horror fan, honestly.
Uh,
I think it's cool and I think the stories are dope. And I've always I'm doing a psychological horror film for my final, so I think they're
Whoa.
pretty sick.
You'll-
But
you'll probably get a good grade on it.
I hope, dude.
Yeah.
I really do. But I think
Sounds like
they're
a good story.
Me, I've been a horror fan since I was a child.
Yeah.
Wow, that long
Yeah.
ago.
I did always watch Papa Meat on YouTube, or not Papa Meat. What is it? Dead Meat
Dead Meat.
with the best kills, or they go over all the kills in the horror movies. I watched him all the time when I was a kid.
Yeah, I've
Just-
never seen that channel before, but it
Pretty
looks
sick.
very, very interesting.
No.
Just imagine, say if Danny Phantom he becomes a horror villain and he has like a horror movie or series, like,
Mhm.
do you think he would be on Dead Meat's channel?
Oh, 100%, dude. How many kills do you think he would get?
Oh, probably a lot.
Yeah, dude. I'm saying triple digits at least.
Like,
Dude,
so
because you know how long it's gonna take to figure out it's him, because he's a kid. Number
yeah,
one, a kid killing that many people without strange abilities, that's gonna be pretty hard. They're not gonna really suspect him. On top of that, he has those abilities. So if they do find out it's him, he can get away or kill them.
ooh, yeah.
Like,
Kind of like how I explained that his friends seeing him kill his bully,
Yeah.
how he just kills them instead of just letting them get away and tell him, you
Mhm.
know? I mean, sure, maybe he is scared at first when he gets his ghost powers, but then he gets used to it and he does it for evil. I mean, he kind of was scared in the actual series.
Yeah,
He had not that much control over his powers,
Mhm.
and I kind of envisioned him honestly just kind of going to bed after the night of his accident, and he just kind of sleeps in his bed, but he just goes through the bed, kind of like how that one episode of SpongeBob where SpongeBob and Patrick were turned into ghosts by the Flying Dutchman, and they just went through the bed, and also they saw through their eyelids and couldn't sleep. Kind of maybe envision that, but of course it wouldn't be comedic. Of course, it would just be kind of serious. Maybe it's also kind of horrifying for Danny as well to discover his ghost powers. I mean, for any superhero or anybody who has powers in general, it can be genuinely scary for them to first discover their powers, which kind of brings me back to Brendon's unique aspects of how he thinks that there are lots of good superheroes that could be turned into horror villains. They have all the stuff that you explained in your podcast, which, by the way, you should check out. Link in the description below. And basically, what if the horror starts with them? Or in this case, it would definitely start with Danny.
yeah,
It'd probably be more scarier for him because he just doesn't know about the world yet because he's only a kid.
exactly. And I think that would be a very interesting dude, the horror villain being a child, an actual kid that wasn't. I think that's so interesting.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think that would be such.
Brendan, didn't you watch a movie about that? Brightburn, is it?
Yeah.
Where he followed a kid who with
Mm.
Superman's powers.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, but it looks like a very good movie.
Dude, oh, I actually did see that. The
Right,
trailer
Bryn?
for that.
Oh,
How was that? You watched that?
Yeah. Even though it wasn't very well received because people didn't think it delivered on its premise, I enjoyed it for what it was.
yeah, and it kind of got your mind going. Your
Yeah.
kind of like your brain gears going and thinking of
Did you
thoughts.
did you also see it, Danny?
No, I
Oh,
haven't.
No.
I have. I wish I could have, but
Yeah, Brendon, would you say like the correlation between like Danny being a kid and like what's the character's name in the movie? Right, Bryn?
His name is Brandon.
Brandon. Okay. Do you think like the correlation of them being kids like that like it'd be very similar to what happened? I haven't seen the movie, but like
Yeah.
interesting, dude.
yeah, that would be interesting. Seeing like when people think of superheroes, they think of hope. But what if they saw superheroes in a different horror ways? Like it's kind of like that in The Boys, only it's not really a horror movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Also in what is it? Invincible.
Invincible too, but the Superman figure later redeems himself.
Oh, true,
So-
true. That is true.
So superheroes kind of like are what they represent in that one, but
Fair.
yeah, yeah, so basically like I say Tate Langdon for Danny because in terms of comparison because he has a Kill Us and so did Tate in Murder House, which is the first season name. Do you guys have any thoughts on what would what good pre-existing horror villains would be a good comparison to how Danny would be if he turned into a horror villain?
That is a good question. Let me think about that.
I'm thinking as well.
Okay, take your time. I mean, he has ghost powers and he's a child. And yeah, so let your imaginations run wild, fellas.
I think I don't know. This is a good question, dude. There's a lot.
There's,
of horror
like-
villains. I don't know, but Danny's powers are like so unique,
Yeah.
and he's so inexperienced. But like he has so many. There's so many ways that he could succeed, right? So like he's
Right.
gonna be very successful. And,
Yeah,
like,
the thing here is
I don't know who to compare him to.
that-
Who
this-
killed a lot of people?
The tough thing is there are not a lot of horror movie villains that are ghosts, and unfortunately,
Exactly. True.
which
That
is-
as well.
yeah, who has killed a lot of people? Brendon, do you know this question?
Um,
You've watched more horror than I have.
Definitely watch more horror than I have.
in relation to ghost villains, I'm not sure if he counts as a horror villain, but maybe Danny could be similar to like Beetlejuice.
Ooh.
Kind of
Yeah.
a horror villain, but
No. I kind of see that though.
yeah,
Because we
Like-
talked briefly about like ghost and haunting people, right? He'd be
Yeah.
able to haunt people. I think
maybe
Danny being able to do what Beetlejuice does with his haunting ability on top of everything he can do would
Yeah.
be terrifying.
Oh yeah,
And
like,
if Danny with his powers, if he acted like Beetlejuice, I would genuinely be upset if that was who I was up against.
I would definitely buy tickets to see that movie.
Yeah, and I would definitely want to. I would rather take Beetlejuice, honestly.
Yeah,
I would not want to take that, Danny.
I mean, of course, if Danny is going to be like Beetlejuice, then he would have to like gain experience from having been a ghost, and he would have to have been a ghost for so long, like,
Right.
and perhaps the human in him would probably have to die.
True.
Because
Yeah.
so he
The
become
lust
full
would,
ghost.
the kill lust would take over.
And maybe some stupid person can accidentally say Danny Phantom 3 times and it would summon him.
Yeah, dude. He
Yeah.
just hears it.
Danny Phantom, Danny Phantom, Danny Phantom.
Oh no, dude! What are you doing?
Oh no.
Oh crap!
Okay. I hope I didn't just haunt this place right now. Yeah, so actually there was an episode like from Danny Phantom, like I mean, or it was like a TV movie or something like that. It was like released so long ago, but there was in fact an episode. Believe it or not, there was an episode of the actual series where he thought he had some power and he did become full ghost, and the ghost took over him and he became evil. And it was like a future version of himself, some dark evil version of himself. I'm not sure if you ever heard of the character Dark Danny at all.
No, I actually have not seen that episode.
Really?
Yeah.
So I hear like it's an epic one, and he's like a great villain. I don't know. Have I seen it or have I just read it online?
No, it definitely probably exists because that sounds.
Yeah, I know
dope.
I know it exists.
Yeah.
And Danny actually fights this evil future version of him, and fortunately he wins, given the nature of the show of the good guy always wins.
Right.
Yeah.
But he is powerful though.
Oh yeah.
Do you think that character would, like, Dark Danny would be like acting similar to the horror Danny, or do you think the horror Danny would be worse or better?
I would honestly think he'd be worse, honestly. Like in terms of morale, like it'd be a lot more gruesome horror Danny than Dark Danny.
True. That's
Yeah.
fair. Damn.
It's like super like duper definitely. So I don't mean to interrupt, but how
No.
much
We're at 22 minutes right
22 minutes, gotcha. All right. So that.
So let me ask you this question.
Oh
Danny.
yeah.
With this character that we've built up, right? This character of horror Danny.
Yes.
Let's go through a list of all the biggest horror entities out there.
All right.
Right.
There's probably lots of
yeah.
horror entities,
And
obviously.
let's go through and pin them against each other and see who our horror Danny would beat and who he would not beat.
All right. This sounds like an interesting topic.
Yeah.
Obviously, Brendon, are you game with this?
Yeah.
You could, and you're also welcome to give me like different horror villains as well if you want.
Mm-hmm.
And I could also give myself different horror villains.
Yes, dude.
All right, so
All right.
I will start with the Xenomorph. That's nothing
Ooh.
compared to horror Danny.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Xenomorphs are really tough. However, it's just like the power of being a ghost.
Xenomorphs wouldn't even stand a damn
Yeah,
chance.
dude. Like you're getting a hand through your heart real quick. No matter how many hearts you have. I don't know how many hearts in Xenomorph.
He probably
has.
could just pluck it out like weeds with his powers.
Yeah, all like I don't know how many hearts do they have. 27. I don't know. Man.
I've like seen like the first Alien and Alien versus Predator, and I started watching Requiem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Requiem. Which one was that?
Wait, is it Requiem? No, I'm thinking of Romulus,
Mm.
the most recent one. That's
Yeah.
like a prequel. It's like in
Yeah.
between Alien 1 and Aliens.
No.
Yeah.
There you go. It's pretty
All
sick.
right.
Yeah, dude. Xenomorph doesn't stand a chance.
Definitely.
What about-
You can-
I think an interesting matchup would be Pennywise.
Ooh.
Yeah, 'cause-
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, because he eats kids and Danny's
Eats
a kid.
kids.
So would Danny be like afraid of him?
Dude,
I think
that
so.
actually is such. Yo, he's kind of
Yeah.
spitting, dude.
Pennywise would win because he's like one of the most powerful horror villains in horror history.
Dude, and yeah, Pennywise would prey into him being a kid,
Like he could
and like he's dealt with kids. Like this kid is gonna be a little difficult because like he's a ghost and like technically already dead.
but
but, like,
Pennywise can. do
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like Pennywise, like has been through this before. He knows how to get the better, and like he's like
Like he
this
can literally.
alternate being, right?
Yeah, he can literally shapeshift into Danny's greatest fear. and
Exactly,
win
dude.
just like that.
Yeah, dude.
I mean-
he'll pray into that, him being a child and unexperienced.
Yeah,
Yeah, Pennywise definitely takes the cake.
Pennywise is like super duper powerful.
Yeah, dude. That was a good,
Oh yeah,
Good
I've
take.
seen like
Good
both
take.
of the newer It's. They were really good.
I've yet to see those because I was scared.
You afraid of clowns?
Not afraid of clowns. I just don't like jump scares.
Ah!
Wow.
Gotcha.
All right, sick. Ready?
Ready?
We talked briefly about this character, Freddy Krueger.
Yes. Okay, so Freddy Krueger. This can probably go either way depending on how hard that they fight each other. I mean, Freddy could haunt dreams, so could Danny, and I don't know if Freddy Krueger has dreams or not, but because he's like completely a ghost and Danny's only half a ghost.
Right.
If Danny had some prep time, he could win, but if Freddy Krueger, if there's no prep time, Freddy Krueger, it's the round.
I don't know. I think that's a good take. Danny is like I don't know. This is talking about like the horror Danny that we've created. He's
The horror Danny.
he was a hero for a little bit, correct?
No, he was
No?
never a hero.
All right.
Never once was he
Okay,
a
so
hero.
then I'd say Freddy Krueger. Because if he was a hero, he learned his powers a little bit, and then he went dark. Then he would be seriously somebody to mess with. But however, if he's just the kid, but he has these powers, like that's still dangerous. However,
I mean, Freddy Krueger is another horror entity that dealt with kids.
exactly. So like Freddy knows the ropes. Yeah, I think I'll give that one to Freddy.
Yeah, and Freddy likes to play with you psychologically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so maybe he could
There's always the dream of There's always the dream of waking up from a dream sequence that'll get you in.
Yeah, sure.
yeah. So what if he could play on Danny's weaknesses of not being loved enough.
Oof. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Being,
Dude,
Freddy Krueger
yeah.
would win, honestly, and so would Pennywise.
yeah.
Both of those entities could play with that with him.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
They just know the game longer.
Yeah.
You know?
They've been in the horror game, and Danny's the new kid on the block, literally.
Yeah.
Um,
On Elm Street,
trying
dude.
to think. The Candyman is my next
Ooh.
one.
Candyman.
Yeah. I think Danny would probably win, honestly.
Really?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like,
I'm not too familiar with the Candyman story. I know he's a ghost with
he's a ghost with a hook, and you
Yeah.
can summon him 3 times with a mirror, just like Bloody Mary.
except he's a man.
Yeah, he's a man.
And also he's bees? Question mark?
I think so.
Okay.
I've never seen Candyman, honestly.
Neither
I
have
just
I.
pulled that one out of my ass.
Nah, but I think that's a good.
Have
that's a
you
good
seen
fight.
Candyman, Brendan?
Yeah, I've only seen the original movie. And you actually summon him by saying his name 5 times.
5
Oh.
times.
So he's
And-
better than Bloody Mary. He's more. Yeah, he costs extra. That's sick.
I mean, horror Danny that we've created could possibly he could gain experience. We as human beings could have the ability to learn and gain experience.
Right.
As he does that, he could possibly have the potential to be summoned by saying his name more than Candyman does, which is just 5 times. So maybe it could cost even more to summon him.
Yeah.
Of course, that one would also depend too.
Yeah. But yeah, Candyman. I think that's a good person to bring up. I've never seen the Candyman movie. What are some of his abilities that he can do?
I mean, I've only seen the movie once, so
It's a bit blurry.
Yeah. But yeah. he's a ghost. He can like appear anywhere.
Right.
I mean, he likes to mess with you mentally.
I mean, so
okay,
could
so
Horror
it's the
Danny
same.
as well.
So this is a pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, I
But
say this is
how
evenly
is he
matched.
like? Is he an OG in the game? Has he been doing this a while? How fresh?
long
is
has he been dead?
Candyman?
From what I remember from his backstory, he was like a painter, who fell in love with a white woman, and apparently that's back when blacks and whites.
We're segregated.
Yeah, so he was murdered by a lynch mob.
Oh,
Ooh, sounds like
Yeah.
a really horrifying backstory for a really horrifying figure.
yeah.
Yeah, they splashed like honey on him so that a bunch of bees could sting him to death.
Oh,
And they like
I see.
cut off his hand and replaced it with a hook.
I see. I see. So that's where the bees come from.
Yeah.
Yeah, that explains a lot.
That does explain a lot.
All right,
Interesting.
throw another horror figure at me.
Who'd be?
Samara Morgan from The Ring.
I think that too is also pretty evenly matched. Maybe Samara might have the upper hand because she's fully ghost and she might have been dead slightly longer. I mean, she might have been a ghost longer than Horror Danny that we've created.
Well, she's just a basic ghost.
She's a
right?
basic. Oh yeah, she is a basic ghost.
And
Danny
doesn't
is
she
not.
just like haunt you and then like possess you?
Maybe I don't know.
Am I following that story right? She just like pretty much just haunts people, right?
She
She
also
kills him,
comes from a
too.
TV, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, but like, that's it. That's it. I don't know. Turn the TV off.
Okay, so I get maybe Horror Danny can win.
Yeah,
this.
I think I think this is a good lineup. You know, good warm up
Yeah.
for old Freddy
Like,
Krueger or
um,
something.
Yeah, like Danny could use his human abilities to like
Exactly. Like yeah.
maybe he say theoretically he has some Fen technology or something like that, and he might use some of that on Samara.
Yeah, because this is Danny. This is Danny Phantom. He. Excuse me. Sorry. As much as he is a kid, there's a lot of technology in Danny Phantom.
Yeah, he's smart.
He's
he
smart.
can figure shit out.
He can figure stuff out. Right, this is still the Danny Phantom we know and love, except
he's horror and he's
Ex-
evil and
exactly.
he wants to.
So
he's like Psycho. He
exactly.
wants to kill people.
I think he's very resourceful, and I think that the technology that in the show usually helps him. I think he could just steal and create and just make it to where it's not gonna help other people. It's gonna harm. And
Oh,
I think
yeah.
he could swap the floor.
Another reason why Horror Danny would be a very, 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 very powerful horror entity that no one can stop.
Exactly, dude.
Because he also has the human in him at least knows all of his dad's ghost tech and
Right.
whatnot. Yeah. All right.
Another villain.
What else? Do you have one, Connor?
Let's do. Okay. Let's just do demons. Let's do.
Demons.
Let's just talk about Annabelle.
Annabelle.
Powerful demon. You've all seen the movie.
Okay. I think Annabelle could win that.
Really?
Well, I don't know. Like, she's like a full-on demon, and she just possessed the human in him.
But I don't know. Couldn't he possess her? Well, I mean, no, you can't possess the demon.
Nah.
That's not how that works. True. You're right.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. That's a fair point.
What about you, Brendon? Is right,
Your
yeah.
thoughts?
I honestly can't think of any more like demon villains.
Yeah, I can't really think of any either.
We're at 35 minutes.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to end it now. This has been horror. So you just heard how Danny Phantom could very easily be turned into a horror villain, and he'd make a very good horror villain. You just watched Horror Theories with your host Spooky Dan. This is Brendon, and you can check his podcast out in the link description below. And this is Connor. You can check out his podcast, the Comcast, link in the description below. Next episode, we will discuss how Timmy Turner can become a good horror villain. Until then, this is Spooky Dan with Horror Theories. Stay spooky. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Peace.